Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. That's right. Okay. So we look for that, for the kingdom. Okay. Alright. So back to the original point. The point was what? The question was asked, who should be the greatest in the kingdom? Okay. Because we know that the kingdom is promised to come to the Israelites. Okay. Alright. Matthew's 18:1. And at the same time came the disciples unto Yahawashi, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Okay. Which is a good question, because we know that the great ones, alright, that's going to be in the kingdom of heaven are the Israelites. Okay. Alright. Verse 2, which is talking about the 144,000, the elect. It says, and Yahawashi called a little child unto him, and said unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, alright, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Meaning you had to repent and become like a child, meaning teachable, and also children have full trust until someone like break that trust, but they trust wholeheartedly, man, and their faith is pure. Okay. Alright. So you have to become like children. Alright. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is great in the kingdom of heaven. And whosoever shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. That's right. That's right. Okay. And what's also part of being great in the kingdom? You got to keep the commandments, man. Alright. Matthews 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. That's right. Because what we just read about the kingdom in the Old Testament, okay, haven't been fulfilled yet. So therefore the Old Testament ain't done away. So the Lord didn't come to destroy anything, but to fulfill, and to fulfill those things which are coming, that we just read. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach man so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so if you sinning and you teaching others to sin or promoting sin, then you're gonna be least in the kingdom of heaven. Meaning you're not gonna have any notoriety or honor in the kingdom. Okay. Alright. It says, but whosoever shall do, mean do what? Do the commandments and teach them as well. Alright. The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Alright. That's what we're reading about. So number one, the first part is coming into it, meaning you have to repent. Once you converted, repent, come as a little child. Okay. Then once you come as a little child, meaning you have to be taught back up, alright, to your understanding as a man. You had to be retaught and renewed through the scriptures. Okay. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 15. It says, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in the Mashiach Yahawashi. Okay, so once you be converted and you humble yourself as a child, meaning you come and repent and start developing, having a childlike faith in Yahawashi, part of that, growing in that, alright, and sustaining that to strive to be the greatest in the kingdom, is that you have to keep the commandments as well as teach it. Okay. Alright, that's part of being great in the kingdom. Alright. It says, Matthew 5:20. It says, for I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Because the Pharisees were known to say and not do. Alright. Matthew 23. Matthew chapter 23 Verse 1. Then spake Yahawashi to the multitudes and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Okay? Meaning they were being hypocrites. Okay? Alright? So you gotta do and teach. Alright? Okay? Because the Pharisees, they taught it, but they didn't do it, so that'll make them least in the kingdom. Alright, those that were wicked, because you had Pharisees that repented and was converted and learned about the Lord and then taught that. Paul being one. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, and another part of the kingdom is having a servant style, a servant mentality. Okay. Alright. Matthew 20 and 25. It said, alright, it says, but Yahawashi called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles, talking about the nations, exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. Meaning they flex, what we call flexing, meaning they show their power upon the nations that they rule over. Great example is in this kingdom how Esau exacts his power and authority, his might upon the other nations to beat them into submission. Okay? Alright? But in the kingdom, we're not going to operate that way towards our people, the Israelites. But to the heathens, your ass is grass, man. You're just going to get flexed on, okay? Because that's according to the scriptures. But for the most part, dealing with Israel, we ain't supposed to operate like that, like heathens. Alright? You know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. Alright? But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. Okay? So that's a whole different vibration. Okay? So part of being great in the kingdom, or striving to be one of the greats in the kingdom, or the greatest like the disciples did, because that's in our heart as an Israelite. We strive for greatness. Okay? Or to be the greatest. Alright? But to have that title, or seek for that, you have to, it's a whole different mentality when it comes to dealing in the truth. Okay? You got examples of people in the world that boast themselves and how great they was, and I'm the greatest and this and that. Great examples, Muhammad Ali. Okay? But the Lord humbled him. Okay? Because towards the end of his career, he was still popping that shit. When his abilities, he knew his abilities wasn't as it was before, when he was in his prime and he was great, but he was talking that shit until he got his ass whooped, okay, several times before he ended up retiring. Okay? Alright? You ain't supposed to have that mentality. Your mentality is that of being a minister or a server, which is a state of being in a humble position. Okay? Alright? So it says, but it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Okay? Alright? That's right. Okay? That's right. So if you're in a position, that's the mindset you're supposed to have as striving for greatness for the kingdom. Alright? Being a minister and a servant. That's being great and chief amongst the elect. Okay? Mark 10 and 42. It says, but Yahawashi called them to him and said unto them, you know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them. That's right. But so shall it not be among you, but whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all, for even the